My name is Lori. I blog at Weeble's Raw Blog. And I have a question actually for all three of you. It starts with an assumption. We know what that can do. But anyway, assuming that you add blogs to your readers, what is it that makes you add a blog to your regular followed blogs?
That's an interesting question.
Go ahead, you start.
Oh gosh. Well, you know, by now most of the blogs I add to my reader are relevant to BlogHer. Is this someone who has a topic that people have expressed interest in seeing a panel? So I'm kind of following so many different topics, and it's been really actually wonderful to be taken to topics that are outside my personal interest. You know, I'm not a mom. I'm not a foodie. I'm not a handy knitter DIY person. I'm not lots of things, you know. I'm interested in but I'm interested in lots of other things. And yet I follow a lot of these communities because you guys are those things. And I want to find the people who resonate in the community. So for me, it is now driven by what will be here at BlogHer and how can we make it really great and reflect the community. And it's expanded, therefore, it's really expanded what I read and blown my mind. Like that community keynote last night, I probably would never have read 90% of those blogs just because of my own reading. And look what I missed, you know? So I'm very, very lucky that that's part of my job.
And I have a lot of blogs in my reader that I don't find time to read, sadly. You know, you have them all there, and I just don't, there's not enough hours in a day to read them all. What gets me to add them is topical. So I'm really into scrapbooking one week. I'm all about the scrapbooking blogs. I'm, you know, into technology and new Photoshop plugins and actions, and I'm tapping into those. So it really goes by what mood I'm in that day to read, and a lot of them I won't end up reading.
For me, I think it's just like any other, like what gets me interested in a new television show, or interested in, or what makes me like a movie is that someone has created or was writing about characters in a way that I start to really care about them, or I'm interested in what's happening to the person and I'm rooting for them. I find myself going, oh, wait a minute, I want that person to succeed. And so when I find that sort of tug at me, I'll add them immediately.
Well, I mean, I think that just kind of indicates that we're all characters to each other in a way, characters in the lives that we're putting in our blogs.
Hi, it's Melissa Silverstein at womeninhollywood.com. I just wanted to make a comment that when you write about women and you care about women and you put out the reality of women's lives, it's very threatening to our culture. So I think we need to keep that in perspective. And my example I can give you, Deuce, with your death threats is, I worked for Gloria Steinem about 15 years ago, and the first day I walked in the office, she got a death threat. And they all said to me, oh, don't worry about it, just put it in the cabinet. She got a ton of them over there. So I just think it's like one of those things that happens when you challenge the status quo. And most of the women in this room are doing that, and we need to support each other and remember that this is not something people will like. We are pushing the envelope. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Leah Jones. My blog is Accidentally Jewish.
How does that happen?
And I also work at Edelman PR. Something that I say a lot is I hate it when people make rules about the internet, and I hate it when people don't follow my rules. So if you could make one rule, what would it be?
Who wants to go first?
Not it.
What? Not it.
Not it.
If I could make one rule, you can only post anonymously if you're like blowing a whistle on some sort of horrible government, program, or that should be the only protected anonymity. And most of it's just such cowardice is being promoted through the internet by anonymous comments.
What percentage of the hate you get is anonymous?
Oh, I would say probably a good 60–70% of it.
Yeah, 90%.
Okay. Did you think of
it's all fake emails, fake web addresses, all of that. So.
Did you think of a rule?
No. I don't have a rule. I'm a no rules kind of girl, especially the book, the rules. No, I guess just you know, do unto others as you'd want, you know, done to you kind of thing. Although that doesn't apply to writing about my husband and our marriage. Because if he started a blog, I would die. I would absolutely die.
Oh, we've got a question up front here from Heather. Oh, you've got one back there? Sorry, I didn't see.
Amy, are you on? Anybody want me? I got one there.
My name is Rachel Mdanek, and I write a very unread blog called Vampituity, an improvised perspective. I just have a quick question. Whether I'm writing about animals or environment or whatever, it seems like is it this medium that's making us extreme or making our audience reactions extreme? Is it that merely that this medium is an amplification of voices? It just feels like blogging really brings out all ends of the spectrum and not a whole lot in the middle. It almost seems like it amplifies, especially in terms of comments, those middle ground people who I think are most of the people in this room, you know, sane. And I just wanted your input on that, because you guys get so many comments and you probably have a lot to say about that.
I think blogging gives people a voice, and sometimes it's a voice we don't necessarily want to hear. It's a vehicle. So if someone's writing a memoir about, you know, what it was like to raise her daughter, she's not going to get, and she's making money off of selling this blog, she's not going to get the grief of you're exploiting your children. And she's not going to get the hate mail because no one's going to take the time to send in that letter. It's that we're so accessible as bloggers that people don't have to think twice about shooting off an email or a comment anonymously or otherwise. So you are going to hear more of it. So it is amplified in that way. But if someone's doing the exact same thing on a television show, in a book, in the press, print form, you're not going to hear as much backlash about it as you will on blogs.
Well, people go to great extents, I mean, great lengths to be so horrible. People go to great lengths. I mean, they'll leave the anonymous comments, and then they'll go use an IP scrambler or whatnot. And it's almost like here is this opportunity for their ego to just crap all over something. And there's something very fulfilling to them about that in this medium because it's very immediate and they know I'm going to read it. And whereas, I mean, they're going to send an email. Let's say someone is really upset with Jennifer Aniston and what she's wearing. I mean, if they send her a letter, they don't know that she's going to read it. But I've promised people that I read my email, and they know I'm going to read it. And so they know that they're going to get my eyeballs.
When the whole Kathy Sierra thing happened last year and the subject of misogyny in the blogosphere and the internet came out, Lisa Stone actually said that she had never worked in a newspaper or newsroom where prominent women reporters and newscasters didn't get way more hate mail than prominent men. And so I don't think that, and so what I said back then was I don't think the blogosphere creates this kind of person or this kind of reaction. I don't think the internet creates it. I think it's a segment of our society. But I do think, to what you said, that there is an element of amplification, immediacy, distribution. That is both the beauty of the blogosphere, right? I mean, you've gotten so much support and so much love. And it also happens to be the dark side because it is so amplified.